President Trump is back at the White House after spending 3 days at Walter Reed Medical Center.
Joining us with an update, his attorney and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Obviously happy this morning, of course, because the Yankees won. But before we get to the business at hand, sir, how did your most recent test come back?
Well, I took one yesterday, and I got the result last night. It was negative, thank goodness.
Good. I'm
just lucky. I can't figure it out. I was sitting next to Chris and Kellyanne for 3 days of debate prep, and myself, Jared, and Ivanka so far are the only ones in that room that haven't gotten it. So
interesting. I'm
keeping my prayers going for them, because I kind of feel bad in a way. I mean, I don't want to get it, but I feel bad.
Right.
That they're suffering so much.
All right, let's get to the president. Obviously, now made news last week. It is the biggest news potentially of the last month, if not the last year. Do you agree with the president's recent message of do not be afraid of COVID?
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a message that could be historic. I mean, it reminds me of Roosevelt's message at the beginning of his administration. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. The reality is that there's been, at the beginning of COVID, some of that fear and some of that excess was necessary because we didn't know what we were dealing with. Now, COVID is very dangerous, but so are a lot of illnesses. And there are ways to deal with it. There are reasonable ways to prevent it and unreasonable ways to prevent it. And then there are cures now. There are things that put it in a category where 99% of the people, 98% are going to survive and more. And when you get to young people, below 60, the mortality rate is very, very small. So we know the population that has to get the most care. In a way, at the beginning, we were spreading it out too much. We were giving care to people that are not going to get it and not going to die from it. And in the case of New York and New Jersey, we were really handling the elderly very poorly. So now we know where the care has to go. We have a rational approach to it. We've got numerous medicines, by the way, none of which existed. It's all due to Project Warp Speed that they're there. They're all due to the fact that we have a compulsive president who gets things done for us. There's nobody that would in a million years believe that Biden could get this done. I mean, he'd been in a basement for 6 months.
Sir.
And then he would have started to deal with it, and we'd all be dead.
You know that there's been a lot of criticism
yes,
surrounding, everything that's happened over the course of the last few days, which seems like a year. It seems like a lifetime. A lot of the media is reacting. We have a Washington Post columnist who calls for defunding of the Walter Reed Medical Center after the president announced his plan to return to the White House. You can see here, this is from Jennifer Rubin, who says Congress might want to defund Walter Reed. It is a public health hazard. What planet does Conley, that's the president's doctor, inhabit? Where is the rest of Walter Reed, the VP? They are remarkable cowards. You have that criticism. You have a lot of criticism stemming from what we all witnessed on live TV last night when the president made his way on Marine One back to the White House. And then once he stepped off of Marine One and up the steps to enter the White House, he took off his mask right away. A lot of people are saying, you're positive for COVID-19. Why are you taking off the mask right away? There's been criticism after criticism. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, as to the criticism of Walter Reed, I mean, maybe they should wait and see what the result is. I mean, the president went in there sick. They made it very sick, and the president walks out looking pretty darn healthy. They must have done a good job. I mean, that's a great hospital, and it's ridiculous. I mean, it gives you a sense of how irrational the hatred of Donald Trump is. Because they hate Donald Trump and they cured Donald Trump, they want to defund Walter Reed Hospital. I mean, they're getting crazy like Pelosi. And the fact is, he took his mask off because he was talking to people. He was going to address people and wave to them. He wanted to see his face to show that he looks good. He's 500 feet away from anybody. It's like when Biden puts the mask on and the people you're a football field away. The only thing that can get infected are the teleprompters. I mean, there's nobody around the guy. The mask is on for political theater. I mean, you got to realize that. Biden wears that mask. I don't know if it's a security blanket, like the kids who carry the little blankets around, or when he comes out of the basement, or it's just to kind of frighten everybody that COVID is much worse than we think it is.
Just a couple seconds.
COVID is bad, but we can go forward with our lives. We don't have to be paralyzed by it. The Democrats want to paralyze us, I think in part because they want a bad economy, and they're not getting it. Trump is building this economy back so fast, it's way ahead of any of the experts. Or they want to frighten us because they love to have us in a dependent state, which is why they make welfare better than work. If you're in a dependent state, they figure you're going to vote for them. And that's your only formula to success, because they offer nothing but socialism and failed policies. I mean, there's no way that Biden and Obama would have reacted to this as well as Donald Trump did.
We have much.
Their reaction to H1N1 was pathetic. Pathetic.
We have a lot to talk to you about. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with a little bit more on this, including an update on how the president is doing this morning. Stay with us.